World Food Day, which was held on the 16th of October, highlights how fundamental food security is to a stable society and emphasizes taking action with the theme, "Our actions are our future, better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life." I'm talking to the Director of Corporate Affairs at Woolworths, Zinzi Mgolodela, about Woolworths' astonishing 731 million rand food donated to over 1,400 charities across the country under the hashtag Zero Hunger 2030. You're listening to our social newscast, brought to you by Social TV and hosted by me, Sam Marshall. Zinzi, thank you very much for your time. Let's talk about the hashtag Zero Hunger 2030 campaign. What is that about, Zinzi?
Woolworths has been involved in food security for quite some time, and I think in trying to make sure that we have an impact in society, we aligned our CSI, social development initiatives, to SDG goals, to the sustainable development goals. And one of the key goals there is around poverty alleviation, and it's got a hashtag Zero Hunger movement that comes with it. So we aligned ourselves to that, to challenge ourselves to make sure that we contribute to a bigger cause, a cause of food insecurity across the world, but more so for where we find ourselves in South Africa, that is so real, particularly now with COVID.
There was something interesting that you said. You said this speaks directly to Woolworths' food business, where our focus ranges all the way from producing high quality foods using less inputs and generating less waste to making good food accessible to communities in need. And how difficult is it to reach the idea of high quality foods using less inputs and generating less waste? I know it's an easy sentence to say. How difficult is it to achieve that? Or have you guys at Woolies already perfected that?
I don't think you'll ever really perfect it, but we strive to achieve that. And I think it's quite evident in our food and in the quality of our food. And it's constant work where we look at innovative ways to be a responsible food retailer. Making sure that as we make food with our suppliers, we're being responsible in the food value chain, and we're not being destructive. And in fact, if anything, we have a positive impact. So it's not an easy thing to do, but it's something that we've wired into our DNA as a food business, and we're constantly with our technologies looking for those opportunities to make a positive impact instead of the other way around.
The follow-up question is, and I don't know how technical it is, I hope it's not, but how do we generate less waste?
I think waste comes in all sorts of ways, including packaging, for example. We constantly look at ways of protecting our food and keeping the quality right, but in so doing, minimizing the use of packaging, in that regard. So, yes, it's a technical question that you're asking me. One I would have preferred our technologies, respond to, but waste also can be generated in terms of portion sizes. And when it's bulk, we understand it's bulk, but when it's something that is going to be consumed by one person, so you don't end up throwing things away. But also in terms of our shelf life and the life of the product with the customer in the fridge, making sure that, and we do also encourage customers to say, before it even gets to come off or go off the product itself, they should consider donating the product. So it's education, it's thinking about the development of the product, the packaging of the product. It talks to a whole lot of stuff in the waste aspect.
And that's probably the perfect segue to talk about this massive number, because it is a massive number. And I'm not even going to pretend. I'm very impressed that Woolworths has spent 731 million rands worth of food. Donated that food to 1,400 charities. Come on, Zinzi, admit it. That's a mind-boggling number, right?
Yes, it's huge. It's huge, but it does happen given our quality promise to our customers, that we will not have in our stores any food that has reached sell-by date. So whether the customer pitched or not, once the product reach a sell-by date, we take it off our shelves. We allow our colleagues, employees in stores to buy, and then a lot of the stuff goes to charities, which are selected by the stores themselves in the local community, because even that is important for us to make sure that between the time of us taking it off the shelf and reaching the charity, that it's still edible. It's still not at a use by date, because until it reaches use by date, that food has nothing wrong with it. So it's embedded in our model, in our business model.
But that 1,400 charities, you said some of it is selected through the actual stores. And how much of that is through partnerships?
It's mainly through stores. It's really not through partnerships, because the stores exist, or rather our brand exists in these local communities. And we acknowledge that in those communities there is a need. And it's important that the store is seen as part of the community. So we have partnership programs that we run from head office with strategic partners. This is not part of it. This is definitely a localized, approach where the store manager and a committee in the stores will manage that relationship. But it's a strategic relationship for us as well. And you'll see that some of these charities have been receiving food since we started.
You do have a partnership with Food Forward SA, where you guys
Yes.
kind of share a food app to improve traceability. Talk to me about that relationship.
So what we've done with Food SA, we first partnered them as a strategic partner, where we contribute towards their operations and making sure that they make food available for a whole lot more people. And then we went further to challenge our suppliers to also donate surplus food from there, particularly in the agricultural space. And beautiful things have happened with those surplus produce. And it's part of Food Forward strategy of, they call it late harvest. And then now with the app, what we've done is to connect our NGOs that receive food from our stores with the Food Forward app, so that they can have a top up, because I don't think NGOs receive everything they want from Woolworths. So with the Food Forward app, they will be able to receive some stuff that otherwise they wouldn't get from Woolworths, from other, food contributors, people who donate to Food Forward. So it really is great in the sense that it hopefully finishes off the grocery needs of that particular NGO. And what we like also with Food Forward is that they keep to the governance, they make sure they do due diligence, they track them, and make sure that the food goes to where it's mostly needed.